We are now going to have a go at making some bird cupcakes. Now, these aren't cupcakes made out of bird, these are cupcakes for birds. And we are making cupcakes for birds in our garden. And the reason that we're doing that is because it can be quite tricky for birds to find food in the garden during the winter months, because everything is really hard, the ground can be quite difficult to peck, so it can be really tricky for them to find things like worms and other bugs to eat. And also the berries don't grow on the trees so much during the winter, so we want to make sure that we are providing lots of delicious nutrients for the birds to stay nice and healthy during the winter months. I've made a special cupcake here for the birdies in our garden, and you can see that I've used a cupcake case and I've put a hole all the way through. Later on, we'll take the case off and I'll show you how you can hang it up in your garden. But for this activity, what you're going to need is a mixing bowl. Every cake needs a bowl. We're going to need some cupcake cases, some string to hang it up with, some lard, which is just like animal fat really, some scissors, something to poke a hole through, something to mix with, a knife, and then here I've just got some wild birdseed. You can add other ingredients as well, like oats or raisins, but I'm just going to use seed today. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to get our bowl and our animal fat, which is lard in this instance. I'm going to open it up. Now, what I want you to do first of all is have a good sniff of it. Some of you will not like what you smell. It can be quite stinky, this lard, but that's okay. Have a good smell of it and try and get used to it. Try and get used to the smell. Right, we're going to cut into it using our knife. So here you can practice your cutting skills. Now the easiest thing to do, I'm just going to move my bowl out the way, is cut it into chunks. Now this is really good for getting your cutting skills up to scratch and getting those muscles in your hands nice and strong. So I'm just going to cut it into little blocks. Now my lard has been in the fridge. It might be a good idea if you leave your lard out of the fridge for a few hours or even overnight before you have a go at doing this activity. If you don't, it's not a big problem. Just cut it up into chunks. There we go. And it'll be easier then to mix together. There we go. Right, so I've got some nice chunks there of lard. I'm going to put them in my mixing bowl. There we go. Right, that's my first ingredient. My next ingredient is my birdseed. So I'm just going to be quite generous with this birdseed and pour it all in. Now if you wanted to add some raisins or some oats, you can do that again at this stage as well, I should say, at this stage. And the best thing to do at this point is to use your fingers to mix them together. If you don't fancy that, then you can use your spoon, but it will be a little bit more tricky unless your lard is melted, as it's quite hard. If you don't mind getting your hands a little bit messy, then get your fingers in there and get them nice and strong by doing some really good pressing down. And what you want to do is you're trying to mix the seeds into the lard. And the job of the lard is to get the seeds to stick together. You can see in my seeds here we've got some dried sweet corn. That'll keep the bird nice and healthy as well. I'm just going to push it all together. This is really, really good for my finger muscles, my hand muscles, even for my shoulders. So this is good physical exercise. Don't give up. You've got to keep pushing it all in, making sure that all of those seeds get stuck together. The fat in the lard will also give the birds lots of nutrients that they need too. So they won't just eat the seeds, they'll also get some of the fat when they peck the seeds off, which will be good for them too. So here we go, I'm squeezing it all together, making all of those seeds combine with the lard. There we go, we're getting somewhere now. So you want it to look like one big blob. There we go. Okay, I think I've done quite a good job there. There we go. So I've got a nice big mixture for our birdie cakes. There we go, it's all combined together, so I don't have any seeds separate now. So that's how I know that I'm ready for my next stage. The next part is I'm going to get my cupcake cases. And we're going to just do one at a time, and I'm going to get some of my cake mixture and I'm going to put it in my cupcake case. Now the best thing to do here is to hold your cupcake case with one hand and to push it down with the other. So you want to try and mould it into the shape of the cupcake case. So it's a little bit different to making normal cupcakes where you would just blob the mixture in. If you've got a cupcake case holder, you might want to use that at this stage, but you don't have to. So I'm just going to mould it around with my hands. I want it to kind of be like a cylinder shape. Add a bit more in there, look. I'm going to be really generous. Make sure my birdies get nice big cakes. There we go. So I've got my first cake for my birdies. Now the next thing that I need to do is I need to make sure that there's a hole in my cake so that I can dangle it from my tree or my washing line. You will definitely need help with this bit because I don't want you to poke your fingers. With an adult, you need to put something sharp, I'm using a kebab stick, in the middle. Now you need to turn it over and make sure that your fingers are out of the way, so you're going to hold the sides. And what you're going to do is you're going to push it all the way through. Okay, and then you're going to swizzle it around a bit to make the hole. There we go, so I've made the hole in my cupcake, my birdie cupcake. You see it goes all the way through there. Now, I don't need to cook these cakes, they're a little bit different to human cakes. What I need to do is put it in the fridge, and that will make the lard go really hard again, because my hands are warm, they've melted the lard, but I don't want it to be melted, I want it to be hard. So after you've made all of your cupcakes, just like this, put them on a plate and pop them in the fridge for a few hours or overnight. Once you've done that, you can get it out the fridge, and you must take the casing off your cupcake. Now we wouldn't normally do that when we serve cakes to humans, that would be a bit rude, but we're going to do that in this instance. And here we've got this lovely, lovely cake that the birds are just absolutely going to adore. And this is where your string comes in. So you need to get some string, and you're going to very carefully thread it through the hole. Tell you what, I'm going to use my kebab stick to push it through. Here we go. Got that like that. See how long I want it to be? Yeah, I think that's about the right length. I'm going to cut off the end. And then tie my two ends together, round and through. Okay, and there we have it. I have got a very, very special birdie cupcake ready to go out in my garden. I've got quite a few of those to hang up now, and I think the birdies are going to enjoy having a lovely afternoon tea party.